Okay, this is problem number 4, the fox population problem. Naturalists find that populations of some kinds of predatory animals vary periodically with time. Assume that the population of foxes in a certain forest varies sinusoidally with time. Records started being kept at time t equals 0 year. A minimum number of 200 foxes appeared at t equals 2.9 years. The next maximum, 800 foxes, appeared at t equals 5.1 years. So we're going to sketch the graph and predict the fox population in 7, 8, 9, and 10 years. Okay, so since we don't have any negative numbers in here, we're going to just draw the standard first quadrant graph. This is y, and this is x. Okay, now we're told that the minimum is going to be 200. Let's call this 200. And the max is going to be 800. Let's call this 800. Okay. So I'm going to sketch this out. Let's find the amplitude. The amplitude is 800 minus 200 divided by 2. Well, 800 minus 200 is 600 divided by 2 is 300. So A is 300. The vertical shift is 800 plus 200 divided by 2. Well, that's 1,000 divided by 2, so this is 500. So D is 500. Okay, now let's draw D. So if this is 200, let's call this 500 here. So we'll draw 500. And this becomes our new x prime. This is the new x-axis that we're going to relate everything to. X prime. Now let's look at the time. We started time at 0, so this is 0. And at 2.9, let's call this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2.9. And then at 5.1, we have a maximum. So 2.9, 5.1, it's going to be 2.2. So let's call this 5.1, and then 2.2 later, this will be 7.3. So at 2.9, we've got a minimum of 200. At 5.1, we have a maximum of 800. And then at 7.3, we have a minimum again. So we're going to start our time here. So we're going to move over this far. So this is our new y prime. Now y prime is the same as c. That's the phase shift. Y prime, and y prime is 2.9. So c is 2.9. Now our period is going to be the difference between 7.3 and 2.9. So 7.3 minus 2.9 gives us 4.4. So the period is 4.4. And b is 2 pi divided by 4.4, which is just pi over 2.2. So we can sketch this graph. So we're going to go up and then back down. So it looks roughly like this. and that is really rough. Now let's pick a key point. 2.9 and 200, and then 5.1 and 800. And let's double check our numbers. 5.1 minus 2.9 is 2.2 plus 5.1 gives us 7.3. So we're looking pretty good there. Now looking at this graph, it's not a sine function, or it would have started here, so it's cosine. Positive cosine is here, this is negative cosine, so we're using negative cosine. So y equals negative 300 cosine of b pi over 2.2 x minus c 2.9 plus d 500. Now our y value has to go from 200 to 800, so let's change our window. The y min, let's make it 175, and the y max will make 850, and the x min will start at 2.9, and we are going to have to answer a question going out to 10 years. So we need to go out past 10, so let's go to 11, and now let's put our equation in. Negative 300 cosine pi divided by 2.2 x minus 2.9 plus 500 in bracket. And that looks like a reasonable interpretation. Now let's check and see what our value is going to be. So we're going to check 2.9, and we get 200. That's good. Now we're going to check 5.1, and we get 800. Okay, so we're good there. Now we're asked what the value is at 7. So if we put in 7, we see the value is 227. Now we don't use the decimal. You can't have a part of a fox, so it's not going to be that. And if we put in 8, our value is going to be 337.8, so we could round that up to 338. In 9 years, we'd have 726.7, so we would round that to 727. And in 10 years, we would have 726.7, so we would round that to 727. Okay, that was number